And welcome into To Your Health. You know, as we start to age, we're trying to stay as healthy as we possibly can. Many of us read different magazines to get different things about how to have more fun in life, Southern living, and many of you may even read something like Prevention magazine. But when you're reading these, you may see an ad in there for a prescription drug. That's the interesting thing. But what happens is now you see this page and then 2 more pages talking to you about the possible side effects or what that drug really does. For many of us, we don't have the experience to really know what's the right thing to do. So what I do is I go to see Chris Phung, my registered pharmacist at Adams Drugs. And Chris, you are my go-to guy because you understand those 3 pages of information where I may not. Isn't it important that we have to know those things?
It is, Jack, and you're right. It can be very overwhelming. You know, as pharmacists, you know, we're very accessible, and we're kind of a direct link between you and the physician, and big part of the healthcare team. So we're certainly there to kind of give advice on what's important to understand from reading all the side effects and warnings about the drugs. And like I said, it's very important to have a good relationship with a pharmacist, and we certainly are there to kind of guide you through that process. Because it can be overwhelming. You start reading 2 or 3 pages of side effects, and my gosh, you know, you can, everybody can experience some of those. It would be a little overwhelming, and some people, you know, they read that and, you know, they don't even want to take the medicine. So very important to have a good relationship with a pharmacist.
You know, as we age, we sometimes see different doctors. Each one of us should have a primary physician, but then we have, you know, the different types of physicians for specialties. And these different doctors are each writing us a prescription. That's where it's most important to go to somebody like you that understands this, because you're going to know from what your primary doctor gave you and the secondary prescriptions how they interact. Absolutely.
You know, sometimes there can be a disconnect between all the providers and the physicians. And so, you know, at our store, we take the time to monitor the medications and check for interactions to make sure that there's no duplications of therapy or, you know, potential dangerous interactions there. So even if you go see multiple doctors, like most people do, very important to see just one pharmacist.
Yes.
Or at least try to.
Well, you kind of keep I know that in my case, because I use the Perry Hill Road location, and they pretty much know me. You know, I'm their patient. You know, the same way when I go to the doctor, I've become a patient to that pharmacy, and they know which drugs I'm taking. Yeah,
we try, and we appreciate the, you know, you using that store. But yeah, we try. When you come in there, you're more than just a number. You know, you know, we value your business, and try to get to know you, try to get to know which doctors you see, what kind of medications you take. You know, if any health conditions, we try to know that, you know, whether you're hypertensive or diabetic. Just in case, you know, something strange comes in, a prescription comes in, you know, the more we know, the more we can better take care of you, to make sure that, you know, hey, you know, we know that he's hypertensive. You know, this prescription here, or this over-the-counter medication can raise his blood pressure. You know, so like I said, the more we know, our customers, the better it is for everybody.
Yeah, because there's a lot of times you go in there and you may not be buying just prescription drugs, but other supplements that are in the store. And I think they should take the supplement, take it to the counter, and then you can tell us if we're doing the right thing.
Right, absolutely. And like I said, you know, we'll have all of your medication profile right there. You know, don't be afraid to ask, because, you know, a lot of people think that drug interactions only apply for prescription drugs. Well, that's not true. You know, a lot of the over-the-counter medications can aggravate blood pressure, glaucoma, diabetes. So it's always good to check.
And what's the, you know, like a lot of times if you're going to get a name brand on a drug, it's going to be a little bit more expensive. You are very great about being able to find a generic that can serve the same purpose and save the customer quite a bit of money.
Right, yeah, absolutely. Prescription and over the counter also. You know, there's a few medications out there with a, you know, where there's a narrow therapeutic index, and the physicians are real funny about taking the brand name and not the generic. But for the most part, generics are absolutely fine. And you know, of course, we only carry generics that are FDA approved and with no issues.
Very interesting story. Not too long ago, I got a call from the pharmacy, and they said, Mr. Galasini, your prescription, our records show that this has expired. Do you need to have this thing renewed? And you know, I didn't think about it, because you know, when you take so many different things, they're usually, it's usually to me, when the bottle's empty, it's time to do something, but you monitor your customers.
Yeah, and you know, patient adherence and compliance is a big deal these days. You know, statistics show that you know, I think up to 3 out of 4 people are not fully compliant with taking their medications. And I think the former Surgeon General Coop said, you know, drugs don't work in people that don't take them. So you know, it's very important to take them and take them when they're supposed to. And so, having said that, you know, we put in place some programs to remind you, refill reminders, where we know if you're taking a certain diabetic medication, a cholesterol medication, any medication for hypertension, and if it passes a certain amount of days and you haven't gotten it filled, you'll get a call just reminding you that, you know, hey, you know, one of your medications may be due.
Good.
So, like I said, it's just to improve compliance and improve health care.
Well, thank you very much. We're going to get you to come back over the next few weeks here, because we want to do is talk about things like make sure you're taking the proper medicine at the proper time, and talking about some things like diabetes and hypertension. And just remember this, on your medical team, you have your doctors, you have your specialists. Make sure you've got a pharmacist, one that you trust and one that can take good care of you. And we'll be right back right after this.